Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's too late to say Happy New Year. I hope 2020 is off to a good start for you, though, my trading warrior brother.
Yeah, it is actually.
Okay, so if you want to share your screen, I don't know if you've used Zoom before. There's a little green box on your drop-down menu that says share.
Uh, what do you want? What do you want me to share?
Okay, well, we could just talk. I thought maybe you might want to show a few charts, so um, that's okay. Either way, why don't we just get into I know that you've been delving into mentoring a lot, more extensively lately. So why don't you tell me what the toughest thing about teaching people how to trade is for you?
Oh, uh, it's going
And
to be a
it's got
long.
to, the list can't be longer than 10.
It's going to be a long answer. Okay, let's go through some things. Number one, uh, depending on what you trade, what I've seen live in the forum actually uh, is a lot of people rush to. A lot of people that are getting into trading now don't understand how difficult it is to uh, trade. Number one, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So what happens is a lot of people read a lot of books, they listen to a lot of people, they spread themselves with so much information, so many indicators, and they're looking for that holy grail. That's what I think. Well, not what I think, what I know. So what happens is they get to learn all this stuff. Uh, Not to put down other courses or anything that I've seen on the internet where there's thousands of hours of videos of training,
Yeah,
uh, 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 information, examples, the regular stuff, the MACD, RSI, and this is what you need to do, and this is what you need to do. So they concentrate on just a huge amounts of information, which, as you all know, there's tons of information online. There's tons of information they cram in a course, and what happens is there's so much data, so much information that everybody gets confused. So when they actually start to trade and start to look at these markets, they might get a couple trades right. And depending on what they've learned and how much knowledge that they've learned, they make mistakes because they don't put the time into actually practice and watch price, which I pound the table. You have to watch price. You have to watch the security you trade because each security trades different. Nat gas trades different than oil. There's times they like to move nat gas different than oil. You get to pick up things when you watch price. There's little tricks
yeah,
I have with nat gas. I don't want to say them, but not just with nat gas, with oil. Like there's specific times you can see them make a make a high on the close, and it's just so the pattern's always there. So when
okay,
you
so
see that,
you really can't teach
you
experience. You have to really put in the time, screen time, and that's going to take many seasons of trading to be able to recognize each market's individual personality, isn't it?
yes, along with basically the strategy that you use. Everybody has I have a strategy that I shared with the people in the forum. Of course, you have to drive your own car, but you know it works for me and it's working for a lot of people on the forum. But I pound the table where these people have learned so much stuff along these. There's a lot of people there that have been trading for 10 years and they're on, they're off, and a lot of them weren't profitable, and hopefully they're profitable now. Um, but what I find is a lot of people rush to get into trading, like they'll learn, and what I find is, especially when they come onto to my site, which has been closed for a year and a half, what I found was a lot of them had to undo everything they've learned. And what they did was, well, what I suggested and what my course teaches is to basically keep it simple. Because honestly, Dale, when I kept it simple, it
Hmm.
started working for me. I used to try every indicator there possibly is, and that's how I came up with my own way of to basically give me a lever of where the market's going. You know, I'm going to wait for this. I do a lot of waiting, Dale. Like
Yeah,
I'm patient like you wouldn't believe. And that's another thing. A lot of people aren't patient. They'll stick in front of their screen. They'll stay. They make it look like if they stayed in front of the screens for 3 days, which I do, and you put all those hours, they're forced to make a trade because they think that all the time they put in watching price for a setup and they don't have one. I like when things align, and I'll pull the trigger because when everything's aligned, the probability is in my favor. A lot of people can't wait for that. They get trigger happy and they get into a trade that they shouldn't be in. And then they get hurt. Not hurt, well, if they get out, but they're taking a trade when it's not there. They're just maybe listening to someone because someone on Twitter or someone said, hey, this is bullish, it's going up. And then, you know, when a move's bullish, it usually goes down first, anyways, and then it makes its move. So,
so what's your self-talk when, say, there has been a lot of confluence for you to feel compelled to click the mouse for 3 days? What are you saying to yourself that keeps you patient?
I'm begging for my target to get hit. So if I have a downside target, I'm begging for that to get hit, which
Okay.
aligns with institutional. With when that aligns with institutional buying, which we have on our site, where we have market, we have dark pools. When they align, I pull the trigger and I go in hard.
So what you tell yourself is, I'm going to let the market come to me,
Yeah.
and it's okay if it doesn't, because eventually one will.
Yes.
So
You actually
I think,
nailed it
yeah. So
because
it's really about letting the market come to you to have your strategy, so you're not impulse trading. Open up your platform and go, huh, I think I'll try this. I think I'll try that. You already know in advance, and you're willing to wait. Tom Petty says the waiting's the hardest part. It's also probably the most lucrative thing you could do. You could make your broker rich or make yourself rich. So, uh,
well, I'll
do you
give you an
walk away?
example.
Do you walk away for, sometimes I'll just, I'll go
Oh,
to a longer time frame and, just stop watching it and go do something else.
yes. Here's an example. I've been waiting for nat gas this level for I'd say about 2.5, 3 months. I've called lower nat gas 204, 203 area
Yeah.
for I'd say about since November. A lot of people have been buying from 240, 220. The squeeze is here, the squeeze is here, the squeeze is here. Just because there's a major, the biggest short position in that gas, doesn't mean that it can't go lower. Just like there was the biggest position in volatility when they're shorting the VIX, it got killed. Now, you have to ask yourself, everybody says this is how stupid people, well, I shouldn't say, this is where you know someone doesn't know what they're talking about. Here's an example. Biggest short position in that gas, this is going to be a historic squeeze. That was at 220,
Right.
225.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you think happens, Dale?
Yeah.
Everybody loads up call options. By the way, it's the London traders who push the gas market anyway that come with that information. They leak it out. So what they do is everybody starts saying retail is short. Do you honestly think retail is short nat gas at 220, at 210, 205? I don't know one trader that's short at that level.
Right.
The hedge funds are short because they know something. And what happened? It got killed. And I waited. And I got in at 202. I did. I took a little position. Then I went to 182, which was my target. I got in at 183, got out at 195. A losing trade became a winning trade. Just
Right.
managing your trade. So a lot of people, just because price got lower than where you bought, I have a cushion in my account. I feel sorry for people that don't. You shouldn't be trading if you don't have an account size. It's much harder for you.
Do you also
And
reduce leverage on your first entry or your second entry?
if
So
it
it
takes,
sounds like you scale in. How do you do it?
if I get in at a level where my charts are aligned for basically if I'm counter trending and it's and my charts are showing a retrace coming, uh, I'll scale in. and that retrace comes. It usually tests um, it tests an upper pivot, and then I get out. I get out on half and leave the rest for entry. But as I was saying, by waiting for the price to come to you, let's just say nat gas, which I'm bullish nat gas. I'm waiting for another dip, which is around 271. Sorry, 171. Where I'm going to load up. If you do one or two, three trades, two trades. Let's say I do two trades where you wait for a price that's just been smashed. The charts are set up, and you get in, and you make those two trades. And let's say nat gas gets 171, it fills, it gets back and tests 230, which I think it will. And then you make oil where I'm waiting for 47. Oil from 47 hits 56, 57. That right there, even if you did the ETF, you're looking at about a 35 to 40% gain. Those
Yeah.
two trades in 1 year are good. Most
Yeah.
people can't even make 40% a year.
Yeah.
That
They're buying all the hype of 1,000. You know, I want to ask you something. Dark pool block trades. I know they're there for equities. Are you getting dark pool block trades in currencies and commodities too?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, they like to hide their tracks, but I know
And
where they
they
hide.
do it in dark pools. That
Sure, they
stuff
do.
too.
They do
Okay.
it, but they trick you a lot too. But that's once again with experience, and it's funny. I'll see. I don't really want to get into it too much because it's kind of proprietary what we find. But
Okay.
there's patterns there. That's all I'll
Where do you
say.
find that information? Is it public? Dark
Yeah,
pool
you got to get
block
it.
trades?
Yeah, yeah, you get it. But we're the only ones that have them on charts. It helps when you visually see it on a chart than just the numbers being written in a spreadsheet or something. Because
Okay.
when it's on a chart and you see a big circle, it's like, whoa, it kind of opens your eyes like, wait a second, who did a trade of, $85 million here?
Yeah.
Who pumped in 150 million here, That's big money. And when you look at that, and when that aligns with targets of mine, uh, very, very high probability that when it combines with my charts, that it's going to be in my favor. And I wait for a lot of those. I used to intraday trade a lot, Dale, and you know what? I did fairly well. I take a setup, I do 4 or 5 points, but the problem is I have a life too. I have a wife, and what I found was I'm starting to do more swing trades now because I like to enjoy my life now. I've worked hard for all my life, and you could sit at the screen and do intraday setups, make your 3, 4 points of 5 points here, lose here, lose here. At the end of the day, you made 3 points. One day you lose 5 points. In the end, it's a lot more work and it's a lot more stress. The way I
Okay.
look at it now is I fine tune myself where I wait a lot. I wait for the setup. Geez, one setup a month for me, I'm happy.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have to you don't have to trade every day. And I see people that want it, and it reminds me of me back in the day where
Sure.
they want to get every setup. Well, I, I find them, you're intrigued. You want to prove to yourself, you know what you're doing, but this is money. People trade the bottom line. You don't trade for your ego. You trade because you're here to make money.
Or
Simple.
entertainment.
Or entertainment. I'm here to make money. That's
Yeah.
it.
You want entertainment? Go see a show in Vegas.
Exactly. Like I don't care about gold. You're shorting gold or you're buying gold. Some people are so focused on gold. They're gold bugs. And I'm like, listen, if something ain't moving, you don't feel comfortable with it, you don't have to marry gold. Move on to something else, right? There's
Yeah.
things
You.
I move on. I get frustrated with oil. I'm like, you know what? I'm done with the oil. You're pissing me off. Boom. Look for something else, And that's why I
Okay.
have so many screens. And my wife helps too, that looks for these setups because the more data I see, and I'm very comfortable with my strategy. A lot of the people on the forum now, uh, look for these setups as well. And I only have two eyes. When you have multiple people looking for this, there's a guy, the guy Michael on there putting bean oil setups. I love it.
Yeah.
Soybean setups. So there's always a setup, and I only have two eyes. And whatever it is, if my chart's showing a buy or a short, a very high probability one, I'll take it. But it has to be there. It has to be set up. I don't just buy or sell anything if it's not set up for myself. A lot of people I find that have taken my course, I think they rush into trading, and I pound the table. Don't trade. You're new. Watch. Consider it like a tuition. You know, you're studying to become a doctor, and you're going to operate on a patient in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys in 2 weeks, they just want to get in.
What do you tell them? Most people, I think it's at least a 2 to 4 year period, like getting at least an undergrad degree in college to, really have breakthroughs and have, made mistakes. And do you teach your people to journal what they're doing? Do you
Oh
tell them
yeah,
to journal?
yeah. The forum helps because I journal. I'll journal like patterns that worked,
Okay.
uh, and I tell them you have to keep a history because you can't remember everything, right?
No, I
And
can't. What's your name again? So, let me ask you this on your forum. Um, have you decided, are you getting aggressive? You use the term blow up your service. Are you doing that? You said your website is closed, but it looks open to me, and I see you tweeting some things. And so I'm wondering where you at with your business. It looks like, you have a pretty big team with you as well. So from what
I
I've
hope
seen on your website,
I'm to be.
go
I
ahead,
get a
be
lot of
honest.
messages. I've denied a lot of people. I'm probably the only one that's ever denied everyone.
But you have,
I vet people that come on.
but you have a forum. There's
I have
your
a
live
forum, but I
trading.
vet them. I just denied one
Okay.
yesterday. I don't like people that uh, have their own fun coming on my forum. The only reason being is, if you have your own fun, then
They'll be soliciting your
that
clients.
too. But more, I find that a lot of these hedge funds don't even know what they're doing. Like
Okay.
I have, I think I have a couple on. I don't want to really point anybody out, but from what I've seen, I think they're more. I think more funds these days. They're more of sales agents instead of learning how to trade.
Okay.
Some of these guys just blow me away. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
hell are you
Who?
talking about?
Yeah. You wouldn't give them 10K to manage?
No,
Okay. That's a key question anytime. So,
no.
Steve, anything you want to wrap it with about, are you interested in people getting a hold of you? Tell me
Um,
about it.
I'm thinking, every time I want to open, there's always something that comes up. I'm managing a fund that I started this January, this year with my family and a couple friends, and that's my main concern now. But I've always
Okay.
wanted a forum, but I will. I know everybody that's
All right. All
been
right. So,
messaging me. It will be up. It just
it,
will be up when I'm ready for it because I don't want a flood of emails.
yeah.
I don't have time to answer these emails. My money is made trading. My money's not made on subscriptions, and
Okay.
everybody knows that. So,
Okay.
if you trade
So
and
please do not contact Steve at the Pivot King or follow him on Twitter. He's
you can follow me,
he.
but a
Uh,
tweet only takes 5 minutes.
oh, okay.
When you
So
have
you.
multiple emails, it's taking hours.
All right. You could follow Steve at the Pivot King. And Steve, coming from I'm a Jap, a Jewish American prince. So from a prince to a king, may you have a great 2020. And, I hope you find the time to teach as many people because the trading community needs people who talk sense and give people a real understanding of what the reality of this business is, and that you can't buy a secret. The secret is just hard work
Yeah,
and perseverance and living through adversity.
and your personality too. A lot of people
Yeah.
Their personalities could affect their trading. If you're
Yeah,
a narcissist, you're egotistic,
yeah,
you're all you're not going to be very good trading. That's for sure. If you
yeah. How
can't
about
take
it?
a loss, if
Yeah,
you, yeah,
everything's in there, and a lot of it's in our heads.
yeah, and a lot of
Yeah,
people, there's a disease out there where there's a lot of people. I know a couple of them. I'm not going to mention them, but where they lose $1 and they freak out, and
yeah.
you probably don't want to trade if you're in that sort of
There's no
disease.
law there.
You're a
Yeah,
multi millionaire and you won't spend $2 on an espresso.
yeah. I
There's a
know what you
problem.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, yeah, I'll tell. I went to breakfast with a bunch of floor traders, and we walked through 20 below wind chill because there was a breakfast special, and they had five-figure swings
Do
in
you
the first
understand what
hour. Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah.
that's real money.
Yes.
Breakfast is real money, not your account. Those are digits. So I know
And
what you
always
mean.
give back. If you're doing well, I'm going to be doing something this year, a very big, probably on Christmas. I'm going to be doing a very big thing in Toronto. It's going to be on the news too. So look forward
Okay.
to that. Yeah, I'm
All
probably going
right.
to do a live video and everything. There's going to be
All
a
right.
couple of U-Haul trucks, and I'll be doing a series where I'll be going downtown Toronto giving away some things. But that's going to be fun. I have
Yeah.
someone on board in the government too that I'll be sponsoring something. So look out December in Toronto. It will
Okay.
be on the news as well.
Steve planting good seeds in Toronto. It
Oh,
was
it's going to be
great.
a really good one. I
Yeah.
look forward to it, actually. But anyway,
Thanks for your
we'll
time,
talk
Steve.
again. Yeah, Dale, have a good day today trading.
Okay,
I'll
buddy.
be seeing you in person one day,
That'd be great to
hopefully.
break bread with you. All right, buddy.
And yeah, we'll go for breakfast.
All right, so here it is, guys. I made Steve a nice little commercial that he doesn't want because he doesn't want you to bother him except on Twitter. But here's his website, thebesttraders.com, Twitter handle at the Pivot King. And that's a wrap for us, everyone. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings, and we'll be seeing everyone tomorrow. Thanks again, Steve.
Thank you, Dale. Take care.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.